But there are students who come from families where nobody else has ever stayed in school and graduated. We call it familial dropout. That's a term, if you did research it, you'll see that, familial dropout. And there are also students whose parents struggled in school, and therefore they don't like to have much to do with school because school was not a very pleasant place for them. And some of that can carry over to their children. And so for those kinds of students who don't have that automatic connectedness from home, those are the ones for whom it really matters to take and put in some implementable strategies. Now, what do you do with the strategies? We monitor them. We evaluate them. We take data on them to see if they're being effective. And that's what we did in our project, and it's not hard to do, and we'll show you how to do that. The other thing that's very important, if you look at the fourth thing, is we want to be sure we get student voice. Laura alluded to interviewing the students. We did a lot of interviewing students. No matter what their age, they'll talk to you. The little ones talk to you even more freely than the older ones. I mean, they'll really tell you what it's like to be on an IEP in the 4th grade and to just say how that makes them feel sometimes. And they'll be very candid with you. And when you hear that voice, you can address the concerns that the student has. But it's trying to carve out time to listen and seek that voice. And when you narrow your group down to a target group, it's not like you're interviewing the whole school. You're interviewing those students, and you're not interviewing them for anything other than to hear, what do they have to say to me about what their struggles are? Because I care and I want to listen to you. Your role as an adult is to be able to convince every student, no matter how underperforming they are, that they have an important contribution to make to this school community. You care about them, and guess what? You're going to find whatever it is they can contribute, and you're going to show it to them, and you're going to let them see how their contribution matters. And it's finding that one strength. Most kids have many strengths, but it's finding the one that they can trust you on, that you can put into place to let them see how they matter in this school community. And to also let them know, remember, if they're in your underperforming group, they've already had some history, however brief at the elementary level, they already have a little bit of history. By the middle and high, they've had a lot more history of school failure, okay? So now it's trying to instill in them the belief that you're going to be able to turn that failure around and help them be successful, and that you're going to relentlessly help them do that. You're committed to them. Again, we're talking about target students, a manageable number. You are going to commit to them that you're going to turn around any failure, and you're going to help them move forward in a positive way. Okay, we're going to do this by looking at strategies that are chunked by, first of all, student to school, how to build student to school relationships. And Jennifer is going to tell you about a program she developed at North Gwinnett High to do exactly that.
First, let me draw your attention to the stapled handout. Expectations 101. A lot of students come into school, and the first day of school is the worst. They have no idea where to go, who do I sit with, where's lunch, what time do I have it, how do I get to my classes. That is the same for anybody, whether it's their first day at a new school because they moved, or they're changing into 6th grade, they're changing into high school. What we did is we came up with a day that we could just get to know these kids, communicate with them, show them we cared, make connections. And that's really all Expectations 101 is about. And what we do is we start out by taking our target students and we bring them in and we spend a day with them. We send a letter, and that's what you have on one of your handouts, and you're welcome to share that, tweak it, use it however you want to. The first thing we do is get to know them, some icebreakers. Then after that, we talk about our expectations of them as students and what they can expect of us. Also, how to problem solve. You're getting in trouble in class. You're not having academic success. Who do you talk to? How do you get help? So we put all those things, we talk about those things, we make those connections, because we know that these target kids, the biggest thing we found in interviewing our kids who were dropping out or had dropped out was that they didn't think anybody cared. And that floored me, because believe me, we care. but it's the kid's perception. It's not what we think. And so you've got to make sure you make those connections. And it can be the custodian. It could be someone in the lunch line. It could be one of the upperclassmen, students. So, but what you got to do is you got to put purposeful meetings in place to try to help them make those connections. Students who move in that I know struggle with this, I give them assignment. The first week of school, I say, you need to come back and tell me, who do you feel comfortable talking to? And it puts it on their shoulders, and it's not me trying to find someone, but they get to start looking at their teachers and thinking, well, if I had to talk to someone, who would it be? And I tell them it can be me, and that's fine, but it doesn't have to be. So those are things that we do. We have business partners bring in lunch, and the most important thing of all that day is we give them their actual schedule. And they go one-on-one with someone, whether it's a teacher or upperclassman, and they walk from first period through seventh period. They have a map if they need to highlight, whatever they need to do. They can walk it 2-3 times if they need to, and they practice learning how to open a locker. Because, hello, middle school students, high school students, some of them never use locker because they don't know how to open it. So elementary schools, you can do this very easily. Sometimes you may want to bring those parents in because these parents need to see that you care about their kid, which is going to help them. And it's also investing time in them. So maybe in an evening, you might have a couple hours where they come in and you sit down and get to know them and let them tour the school, see where their kid's going to be in class, all those things. So it's also middle school. You may want to do with parents or without parents, or maybe the parents come and some of the time it's together and some of it's separate. At high school, we chose to ask the parents to not come because, one, the student's going to be like humiliated, and two, we really want to develop that sense of, I can do this myself. I don't need my hand held. And if my mom's not there or my dad's not there or whoever my security person is, then I have someone else I can go to at the school. And so that's why we did it that way at the high school. Our follow-up is activity 201. And what we do is, for those kids who don't understand the social aspects of the football game, because there's so many unwritten rules. Where do I sit? Do I do with the student stands? Do I sit separate? Do I cheer? Do I walk around? All those things. So we stay after school, take away the transportation barrier. We go to the game after we have pizza, play games, we sit together, and then we also make sure that for those kids who understand the social rules and do not want to be seen with the teacher at the football game, that we have arrangements ahead of time that they can go with their friends, or I can release them to their parents at a certain time, that type of thing. But the thing is looking at your students and what do they need. This year, I had a group of girls. I had a mom say, my daughter's a senior. We moved here a year ago. The only person who's been her friend is a guy, one. I was like, what? Because we have great girls and a lot that I knew who could relate with her. So we decided, you know, we have some girls with low self-esteem. Let's do a girl day. We came together on a Saturday, did self-defense, got to know each other, got to know themselves a little better, and now they have some friendships, and they have are walking down the hall with their head held a little bit higher. So again, it's looking at your school because everyone is different, and the ages are different, the community you live in is different, and just adjusting and meeting those needs to make any kind of connection so that they feel like there's a purpose for being at school, and I want to be at school because this person really cares about me.